Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome to Maximize Your Monday. Listen, come on into the room, come on into the live, come on into the training. I am excited to be before you on this fantabulous Monday for all of our amazing coaches out there, whether or not you are in our exclusive community or you are in our six-figure community. Happy Monday to you. Happy Monday to you. So listen, we're going to take things a little differently today. I'm excited about today's topic because I've been really in this space of making sure that as believers of Christ, that we are showing up as believers in our coaching. So we're going to take things down a different path today. Although I'm going to talk about how to honor God in your coaching niche, I'm also going to just give you practical steps in your coaching business as well. So make sure you come on in, make sure you have your pen and your paper available. If you have your Hey Coach journal, I hope that you have your Hey Coach journal. If you do not have it, I can definitely send you a link so that you can be prepared for it, because we need to first take the moment and sit down and maximize our Monday. And so what does that mean? There is a set of questions in the Maximize Your Monday planner, where you are to answer these questions each and every Monday. Not only are you positioning your confession, you're writing out your confession for the week, but you're also talking about how much money do you want to make? What leads will you generate? How will you generate these leads? And these type of prompts, question prompts, are available in our Hey Coach planner. So you can always visit chasegreatuniversity.com for a copy of the planner. It also provides you access to our fog mapping intensive. So if you are, if you need guidance on structuring your quarters, how much money are you going to make in the quarter? How many people are you going to serve in that quarter? What are some things that you need to do in your business so that you're reaching your money milestone, so that you're reaching your goals? Then guess what? You want to make sure that you are documenting those things, and those things can be made available or can be found inside of the Hey Coach quarterly planner. So if you have the planner, it's time for you to get another planner, because we'll be approaching second quarter. So if you have the planner, then it's time for another planner. And then if you don't have the planner, then make sure you visit chasegreatuniversity.com, click on the Coach My Life shop, so that you can access the planner. Again, the planner not only has a space for you to maximize each Monday, where you can create and put your daily confession. You can go through your revenue goals. You can go through your self-care day. There's just a lot of different prompts that the Hey Coach planner will walk you through. On top of that, it is a quarterly planner, because it gives you the opportunity to plan for the success that you desire in that quarter. So for those of you, if this is your first time joining us for a Maximize Your Monday, welcome. So excited to have you in the space on today. Again, whether or not you're joining us by way of the six-figure group or you are joining us, I am Latoya Early. I am your vision coach, and I'm also the founder of Chase Great University, where we serve Christian female startup coaches, helping you to truly cultivate your call in coaching while building a six-figure coaching business through niche certification. So let's go ahead and talk about our topic on today. Hey, Demi, welcome. Let's go ahead and jump into our topic. If you are joining us by way of replay, or if you are live, make sure you go ahead in the comments and let us know who you are. Say hello, say hi. Let us know what type of coach you are. Share your power statement in the comments. If you do not have your power statement, then make sure you let me know that as well, so that I can tag you in one of the trainings in the six-figure community, so that you can work through that and you can have your power statement ready for when you show up in a room. Cool. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump into our topic on today. Again, we're talking about how to honor God in your coaching niche, right? We're going to talk about how to honor God in your coaching niche. And so what I'm going to be doing is periodically, I'm going to make sure that I'm checking the intake form. So for those of you, when you first come into the community, there's a set of questions that we ask you. What are some things that you're struggling with in your business? A lot of times we hear narrowing your niche, getting clarity of your niche. How do I know what my niche is? How do I know how to serve in my niche? And so before we jump into how to honor God, I want to help you really get clarity on the differences between niche coaching and niche marketing. Okay, because those are two different things. And so when we talk about niche marketing, then we're talking about the specific person. And when you learn about niche marketing, you're told or you're taught that you're positioning your service or your product for a particular person. Well, we're going to take things beneath traditional marketing layers, especially here in the community, as we are believers who are coaches. We're going to approach this a little differently. So not only are we identifying the specific person beneath their age, their demographic, their salary, their hobbies, but we're more so focusing on the specific person and who you're called to serve and the specific problem that you're called to solve. Right? So when we talk about niche marketing, we're talking about the specific person and we're talking about the specific problem. Right? When we go into niche marketing. When we go into niche coaching, now we're focusing on solving the specific problem. Right? Now we're focusing on solving the specific problem. So not only are we focusing on the niche, right? Who am I serving? Not just their age and their demographics, but we're looking at the psychographics. We're looking at the behaviors. We're looking at the pain points. We're looking at the things that is causing your specific ideal client to struggle or need support in a particular area, right? That's the niche person. We're talking about that specific person that you're called to serve. Then when we talk about the specific problem you're called to solve, this is now where we're going into niche coaching. Right now we're going into niche coaching. I'm focusing in on the specific problem that I'm called to solve. So the marketing aspect not only speaks to the specific person, right, but it's identifying the behaviors, it's identifying the pain points, it's identifying beneath the traditional marketing layers who I'm talking to. When we go into the niche coaching, now we're focusing on solving this specific problem. And when we talk about niche coaching, this is where we're able to create massive transformation for our specific ideal client. Right? When you're focusing on solving a specific problem, this is where we're able to create massive transformation for your specific ideal client. What do I mean by that? Right? If you are a mindset coach and you're helping your client break free from limited beliefs so that they can take their first trip to another country. I know, super specific, but I'm trying to help paint a picture. So now in the coaching in the process, I'm helping eliminate limited beliefs, right? So maybe I have to challenge different areas of that person's life in order to get to them being able to take trips into another country. But my overall goal is focusing on getting them to take trips into another country. This is what we consider niche coaching. It is being specific on the destination. Right? When we talk about niche coaching, it's being specific on the destination. Where am I taking you? And how am I going to get you there? So while we're talking about, and I wanted to help you differentiate between the two, for those of you who may feel like you already know who your ideal client is, being niche specific is now taking that to another layer. It's now going beneath traditional marketing layers, and it's giving you the opportunity to show up as the expert. Okay, it's giving you the opportunity to show up as the expert. So I think I'm going to put that in the caption as well: niche marketing versus niche coaching. And what does that mean? Right? What does that mean? So keep in mind, if you're joining me, make sure you come into the comments, say hello, say hey, good afternoon. Let us know that you are here. Introduce who you are, introduce your power statement. Make sure you go into the caption and you give StreamYard permission to show your identity on StreamYard so that we can know who we're talking to. Cool. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump into the content. We're talking about how to honor God in your coaching niche. And I've been talking about this topic quite frequently over on Clubhouse, making sure that we are keeping God at the forefront of our coaching and how important it is to do that. For those of you, whether or not, again, you're in the exclusive community or you're in the six-figure community, I want you to take notice to the coaches that are growing around us, right? Coaches who have not been called to coach. Now, again, I want to continue to stress that both communities, the Chase Great University community and the six-figure community, both of these communities were strategically designed for Christian coaches who believe they've been called to coach. Okay, so if you are catching this on replay, maybe you're catching this live, you're like, what? I don't fall in this category. Then I'm gonna right now at this very moment give you all of permission, 100% permission to exit left. That's my right, exit left, right? And that's only because the information that I'm getting ready to share and why niche coaching is so important. This is only going to serve the Christian coach. This is only going to serve the believer. This is only going to serve the person who know that they've been called by God to coach. Right. And so even when we talk about the Christian, keep in mind, let me go ahead and eliminate some myths or some mindset barriers that some of us may have when you hear the word Christian. Christian means to be Christ-like. Okay, so I'm not, if you don't go to church every Sunday, if you don't go to Bible study every Wednesday, I'm talking about the person who is making daily decisions to be Christ-like, who has made the decision in their life that they want to serve Christ, who died on the cross for us and rose for his sin, rose on the third day so that we may be free. That's who I'm talking to. Okay. And so I'm talking to the coach who's saying, Latoya, I've been called to coach by God. It's my assignment. I use this assignment to fulfill his purpose. Then I want to help you gain clarity or redirect you in some of your messaging so that you're sure to honor God in what you're doing. So when we talk about niche coaching, we're talking about solving a specific problem for a specific person. And that level of clarity that you're able to provide your ideal client, your specific ideal client, is what they're going to need in order to break free from what's causing them to stay stuck and move to the next level, right? Our responsibility as coaches is to help change the perspective of the client. So if they're looking at something through a certain lens, and so of course we say, let me backtrack a little bit. You want to help change their perception so that it'll change their perspective. What do I mean? If we can help them look at their situations differently, then they're then able to do what? Change how they think about those situations, right? So if you are and I'm looking just to see who's in the chat. I see that Demi is in the chat, right? So Demi is a self-care coach and she focuses on womb health and really helping the woman create gut health and womb health, right? So the first thing that Demi will need to do as a self-care coach is help people see differently. So instead of seeing your menstrual cramps, and I'm using her again as an example, instead of seeing your menstrual cramps as something that we just go through because we're women, if I can help you shift that and see that it's really congruent with your eating and your lifestyle, then maybe you'll look at this differently, right? Hold on one second for me, y'all. Sorry, y'all, we got a new puppy, so I had to make sure that my husband put her in her space so she can go to the bathroom. Okay, so we're talking about how to honor God in your coaching, right? And how it's important for us as coaches to help our clients change the way they see things, right? If we help them change the way that they see things, it'll change how they think about things. It'll change their perspective. It'll change how they acknowledge things. And in order for them to change, then they have to change their perspective, right? But it first comes with sight. It first comes with changing how you're looking at this. If I can change the way you see it, then I can change your point of view. If I can help you change your point of view, then it'll change your outcome. Does this make sense? Right? So we're talking about honoring God because in that you're able to provide such level of of clarity, you're able to provide such level of understanding where that person 93% of the time won't return back to that stuck place. And here's a scripture for you. Be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed. Hello, somebody, by the renewing of our minds. So if we can help our clients renew the way that they think, then guess what? They're being transformed and we're honoring God, right? We're honoring him because I'm helping you transform the way that you think so that you can look at things differently, so that you can honor God differently, right? That makes sense. Okay, cool. Okay, thank you, Angel, for sharing that. Thank you so much for sharing that. Again, we're talking about changing the perception so that you can change the perspective. Okay, I wanted to pull this up. Okay, so that I could see some names, because some of the names is not coming up on StreamYard. So I wanted to know who we're talking to. Cool. Very good. Very good. Okay, so yes, it's a physical and supernatural aspect to our cycles, which I'm going to learn. Absolutely, right? So in order, and this is Demi responding to what I said about what she does as a coach. So now if she can help the woman shift how she sees her menstrual, that it, like she just said, it's a physical and supernatural aspect, that I'm going to approach it differently. So I'm going to change the way I'm looking at this. And peep this. The moment that you begin to change your mind about something, the moment it begins to change how it affects you. Right. And so again, we're talking about honoring God in our niche. What does this mean? What am I doing? Well, when you can help change the way someone sees something for the greater good of God's word, then now that's when the transformation comes in. So understand that your niche, when we talk about niche marketing and when we're talking about niche coaching, it goes beneath knowing how to show up in your marketing to speak to a particular person. It goes further than those things. Because again, I'm talking to believers. I'm talking to people who know that they've been called by Christ to coach. Right. And so your show up is differently. When you are niche coaching, now what am I doing is I'm taking a deeper dive into your situation so that I can help you not only reach the results that you want, but now we're moving the things out of the way so that we can get to the results. Because if we're going to help you break free from certain things that are keeping you stuck, it's not going to be a one-track path. Right? Let me use Angel, for example. I know that Angel is a self-care coach for boy moms. I love to use her as an example because I'm a boy mom, right? And so some of the things that, Angel shares and some of the things that we've been able to really kind of peel back the layers on as she's serving the boy mom, right? As she's implementing self-care strategies, the overall goal is to help the mom reposition her identity as a woman. Like, hey, I'm still a woman, I'm still LaToya, even though I'm a mom of 3. And sometimes as moms, we consume ourselves with our children, whether or not it's sports or school or, whatever the case may be, we overconsume ourselves as moms and we overwhelm ourselves and we lose who we are. But if the overall goal is to help you rediscover your identity in who you are and in who you are in Christ, then guess what? This is niche coaching because we have a goal that we're working towards. Right? We have a specific goal that we're working towards. Now, in her process, you may have to go through some forgiveness. You may have to go through some confidence training. You may have to go through some mind training, right? So does this limit Angel? No, what it does is it magnifies the results that she's able to bring because her client is not only going to be able to reestablish their identity, but now she's going to be free of so many other things that kept her stuck and overwhelmed, right? So we're talking about how do I honor God in my coaching? How do I honor God in my niche? Elise said, yes, shift the way we are looking at our diagnosis. Yes, it's hard, but I had to learn that the way I looked at life with a chronic illness is how I spoke about it mattered. Oh, so good. Perfect example is grief coach Elise, who serves women who is living with a chronic illness, right? So now instead of looking at this as a dis-ease or looking at this as something that's going to hinder me or keep me stuck, if I change how I'm looking at this, it's going to change my mind about it. And then guess what? The moment I change my mind about it, it's going to change how it affects me. So it's no longer going to affect me the way that it did when I first learned of the diagnosis, because I'm looking at this thing differently. So good, so good. And what is that doing? That's honoring God. Why? Because I'm gaining the clarity and the confidence to still press forward, even though there has been obstacles and opposition designed to set me back. Right? So now I don't have room to blame God for this chronic illness, because I know that I'm in this position for a reason. Why? Because I'm changing the way I'm looking at this thing. And if I change the way I look at it, it's going to change the way it affects me. Does this make sense? Right? I'm definitely learning a deeper component of the psychographics of my ideal client. Absolutely. When you're learning the psychographics, when you're diving deeper into the psychographics of the client, you're identifying the behaviors, right? And I talk about this all the time when we talk about niche specific content. When we're creating niche specific content, I know that we're traditionally taught in the coaching space to identify the pain points. But what I've come to realize in identifying the pain points is that the client may no longer consider what they're going through to be painful, right? A person can live with a nail in their foot for so long that the foot is now numb. They don't even feel it anymore, right? So I'm not going to highlight a pain in the foot when they've become so accustomed to the pain that they don't even realize it. Or what about the person who justifies the pain, right? And this goes to Demi, the self-care coach. This goes to her. She's talking to women who and I read it all the time about, how us as women, we go through the time of the month and we're in excruciating pain and our bodies are aching. And sometimes we just accept it because we think that's a part of life. But what if it isn't, right? What if you're a mom and you don't have to be overwhelmed? Right? What if you're a mom and your plate doesn't have to be filled to capacity? But these are some of the pains that we absorb because we think it comes along with the process. So now, instead of highlighting the pain points, let's look at some of the behaviors, because the person will connect with the behavior, right? Using Demi as an example, one of the behaviors that she could talk about is the body aches, right? That's a behavior. That's something that person is going through. They may not look at it as a pain point because they think that it's just a part of life. So I'm not going to look at it from a painful position. I'm going to look at it as a lifestyle position. Like, so how many women, experience excessive cramping at the top of their menstruals, during their menstruals, after their menstruals, whenever they do? Right now, I'm identifying a behavior. I'm not saying how many women struggle with cramps or how many women. I'm identifying that, hey, this is a behavior that you may have. Let's talk about it. Or what about Elise, right? What if we're talking to the woman who is living with a chronic illness, and one of her behaviors is that she doesn't go out after a certain time of day because she has flare-ups? To her, that's like, yeah, I'm hurt. Like, it's not a big deal. She's not looking at it as a pain point that she's cutting off time in her day that she can live and be excited and be vivacious. She's not looking at it as a pain. She's looking at it as a condition to her illness, right? So this is how we're now looking at this thing to say, how do I speak to my client beneath the traditional marketing layers? And we're talking about the psychographics of the specific ideal client. But how do I honor God in doing this? It's because now I'm able to show up with authenticity. I'm able to show up with clarity and precision to help solve a problem. And I'm going to do this making sure that I stay aligned with his word. I'm going to do this making sure that I'm staying aligned with in prayer, that I'm praying, because one of the things that we have to do as believers is we have to make sure that we're interceding on behalf of not just our team members, but of our clients. But check this out. When you're specific in your niche, you know exactly what you're praying for. Come on, y'all. right? You know exactly what you're praying for. So I don't have to be broad when I go into prayer. I can talk directly to Lord. I ask right now in the name of Jesus that you cover my client in this moment as she's struggling in her mindset, believing that she can build a six-figure business out of what she's doing, out of the problem that you've called her to solve. I cover her. I'm interceding on her behalf because I know exactly what she's going through. So I can call that thing out in prayer. I can call that thing out in my messaging. And guess what? She knows I'm talking to her, and so does God. Right? So does God. So we're talking about honoring God in our coaching, honoring God in your niche. Why should you become niche specific in your coaching business? What does this do for you? What does this do for the client? What does this do for the kingdom? What does this do? And so we're breaking down the concept that niche coaching is more than just a marketing concept. Right? It's more than a marketing concept. It's really learning how to dig beneath the traditional layers and get down to the root of the problem. Because here's the key to building and being a successful coach is knowing how to get to the root of a problem so you can pull that thing up. Because here's the thing, the moment that you're able to get to the root of it and pull that thing up, if it decides to peer its ugly face in other areas of that person's life, because you've coached them through it, they'll know how to self-correct in the other areas. They'll know how to self-coach in the other areas. Does this make sense? Let me go ahead and check out this comment. And this is from Demi. She said PMS, and she corrected herself in a comment below. PMS symptoms give the what, but the root cause gives the why. Everyone's why is different. I'm learning how to speak to the what and the why. Absolutely. Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. Right. And so this is when we talk about that niche, right? See how she's learning that's the key component right there. I'm learning how, which means now she's becoming what? The expert in solving this problem. So when she's positioning herself on social media and marketing and advertisement, wherever she is, she's establishing herself as the expert in this area. So if anyone has questions about this thing, guess who they're going to go to? Demi. Right? Because I know if I have questions about it, or if I know somebody who has questions about it, I'm sending them over to Demi, because I have not studied the menstrual cycle well enough for me to explain it to anybody. Right? I'm not going to tell y'all the basics of what I know, but I do know that Demi has not only educated me more on my body and my cycle, but for the women that we've been called to serve. Right? Using Demi. And I'm glad that we're talking about Demi as well with this, because Demi's niche is very unique. Right? It's very unique. And so this is to free anybody who's struggling with being specific on the problem that you're called to solve. Some of you are struggling with really owning your lane because it's so unfamiliar and because it doesn't sound popular. And so as a self-care coach, Demi focusing on womb and gut health, while that doesn't seem popular, she's really able to elevate the woman and really able to serve and support the woman on a level that many coaches aren't able to do. Why? Because she's becoming well-versed and she's sticking to the lane that God has called her to, right? She's educating her audience. She's educating the people. And these are the things, when you talk about niche coaching, this is what makes what you do so profound, because you have to make sure that you are educating your audience. How do they know that you're the solution to their problem if they're not clear of the problem? If they're not clear of some of the things that they're going through to be a problem in their lives, right? So we're talking about how to honor God in your coaching niche, right? And how being niche specific in your business, how it offers clarity, how it offers understanding. Understand, us as teachers, we are positioned to provide information to our audiences. Well, you don't want to provide information in a vague or confusing way. You want to make sure that you're providing education in a form of clarity and understanding so that the person can see clearly. Know that the enemy thrives on confusion. So if he can keep you confused, then he can keep you stuck. So it's our job as believers, as Christian coaches, to make sure that we're providing the clarity, that we're providing the understanding so that they can be free. Right? And so this definitely unravels into learning your specific ideal client, making sure that you're educating and keeping your client to keeping your client well educated on the topic, what you do, how you're able to serve, the different ways that these issues can show up in someone's life, all of the major components to help someone be free. You don't know what's keeping your client stuck, right? It could be something as simple as using Angel as the example as a self-care coach, and it could be something as simple when she's talking about behaviors, right? And I use this all the time. She could be talking about behaviors, and it could be something as simple as you not putting in a budget to go get your hair done, right? Because you're like, I'm sacrificing for my children. My children need this. And while I understand that there are different, finances and different situations for different people. So I'm saying this, using this as an example, but what if that may be the small thing that's keeping somebody stuck, where they're not carving out money in their budget for them, because they want to make sure that their children are taken care of. But what if that's keeping that person stuck? What if this person struggles with her confidence? She doesn't feel beautiful because she isn't able to go to the hair salon. Something as simple as that. You were like, but Latoya, we can do our own hair. Let me tell you, your girl, your coach right here, that is not my ministry. If I wash and blow dry my own hair, y'all will be like, excuse me, can you go find the nearest salon? Because that right there, that's not it. Right? I stay in my own ministry. I know what I'm good at, and hair isn't one of them, right? But what if I was in a position, and I have been in this position, thank you, Lord, I have been in this position where I overconsumed, or I put everything to my children, and I didn't have a budget to take care of Latoya. And so guess what? It limited how I was able to show up, because I didn't feel confident. I didn't feel beautiful. I didn't feel like I had it together. So I didn't want to show up. I didn't want to go to the networking event. I didn't want to go to the birthday party. I didn't want to go to these places because I didn't feel beautiful. And it's because I had to make sure that my kids was paid for, and I had to make sure this was paid for, and I had to make sure. So I never carved myself out of budget. I've been there, and I know how that feels. So what if that was a behavior that I was able to talk about in my marketing, where I'm speaking directly to someone, and now them working with me, them working through my content, now it's helping free them. Now, not only are you helping them again reestablish their identity, but guess what else you've just done? You've just increased their confidence. That confidence is a huge factor. If you don't believe in you, it does not matter. Right? It doesn't matter across the board, whether or not you're working in corporate America, whether or not you're an entrepreneur, whether or not you're a mom, whether or not you're a wife, whatever you are, if you can't look at yourself and see beauty, it doesn't matter. If you can't look at your skill and see value, it doesn't matter. Right? So I want you to think about those things. So listen, I'm all set. We're at the 32-minute mark. I didn't want to be before you long. I just wanted to share this with you. I wanted to just kind of help you peel back some layers in your coaching business so that you can really realign yourself with the word, making sure that you're staying grounded in the word of God, making sure that you're staying grounded in what he said for your coaching business, so that you don't get distracted and pulled in all of these different directions.